Hello students, welcome to our afternoon read aloud. Today we will read another information book about the American flag. And on the cover I can see two flags flying and kind of blowing, rippling a little bit in the breeze. The American Flag by Patricia, Ryon, Quiri. And there is a child holding a little flag. Ooh. Here on the dedication page is a nice picture of the Washington Monument with a flag at the base. And here's the table of contents. A symbol of freedom, flags and their history, early American flags, a new flag, changes in the flag, a growing nation, the Pledge of Allegiance, honoring the American flag. To find out more important words, index, and meet the author. We're not going to read all of the chapters. We're going to read some of them, and I'm just going to show you the pictures and captions for some of the others. Ooh, I see a bunch of kids holding little flags. A symbol of freedom. The American flag is a symbol of freedom. It stands for the land, the people, and the government of the United States. Nicknames for the American flag are Old Glory, the Stars and Stripes. Oh, we learned that one yesterday, right? And the Star-Spangled Banner. The people of the United States are proud of their flag and the country for which it stands. Flags and their history. Long ago, before flags were made of cloth, people made flag-like symbols out of different materials. Wood, stone, metal, and even animal skins were used. These symbols were called standards. They were placed on top of spears or poles and carried into battle. They were also used as symbols of land ownership. Historians, people who study the past, believe that the first flag to stand for a country was the flag of Denmark, a white cross on a red background. So here it says the caption, remember caption, our sign for caption, ancient Roman soldiers carrying standards above, and here is the flag of Denmark. In 1219, Denmark's King Valdemar saw a white cross in the red sky just before he won a battle. Oh, so that's how the king got the idea for this first flag, and we think this is the first flag that stood for a country. Also in the 1200s, England used a flag called St. George's Cross. It had a simple design, a red cross on a white background. Scotland, a country to the north of England, had a flag called St. Andrew's Cross. That cross was white, but it was shaped like an X. The background of the flag was blue. In 1606, these two flags merged or joined because England and Scotland had united under King James I in 1603. The new flag was called the Union Jack. It became the first official flag of Great Britain. In the early days, Great Britain ruled the American colonies. So here is how two flags came together to make the Union Jack. And this is the flag that stood for the colonies. That's where we are now, while we were still owned by Great Britain. Early American flags. The colony of Virginia was founded in North America in 1607 by English settlers. They claimed the land for Great Britain and flew the Union Jack. In time, more colonies were settled along the Atlantic coast. Soon there were 13, all ruled by Great Britain. The Union Jack flew over these colonies for about 150 years. During the 1700s, the colonists grew angry with Great Britain. The British government wanted, okay, hold on, so let's look at the map before we turn the page. Here's showing the 13 colonies, and here's showing the colonists protesting. You know, we learned about protesting when we learned about Martin Luther King. Also, the colonists ended up protesting against the king and the way they were treated. We're going to be learning more about that later. So they protested that the king had too much control over them. He taxed the colonist on many goods, such as sugar and tea. The colonists wanted freedom from British rule. They wanted to make their own laws. The Revolutionary War began in 1775. It was fought between Great Britain and the 13 colonies. In 1776, the colonists declared their independence from Britain. In the early days of the war, many different flags were made in the colonies. Some colonists used pine trees on their banners as symbols of hardiness or strength. Others sewed rattlesnakes on their flags with the words, "Don't tread on me." And you can actually see this on a Virginia license plate, right? Some cars have that. In 1775, at Ben Franklin's suggestion, the American colonies designed a flag of their own. In the upper left-hand corner was a little Union Jack. The rest of the flag was made up of 13 stripes. 7 were red, 6 were white. These stripes stood for the 13 colonies. That flag was called the Grand Union Flag. It was also known as the Cambridge flag and the Continental flag. It was never an official U.S. flag, but until July 4, 1776, many American ships flew the Grand Union flag. Then, on June 14, 1777, Congress passed the first law about the American flag. We got a new flag. The new law stated the flag would have 13 red and white stripes, 13 white stars on a blue background. The stripes and stars stood for the 13 colonies. There were no rules about how many points the stars should have or how they should be placed. Here's some examples. So there were no rules, so the stars were in all different positions. Some flags were made with 5-pointed stars, others with 6-pointed stars. On some flags, the stars were set in rows, while in others they were set in circles. Some flags had 7 red stripes, some had 6. So this is just showing that if you say it's going to have this many stars, this many stripes, but you don't say exactly how, they can end up being all different ways. The red, white, and blue colors of the flag were symbols too. Red stood for courage, white stood for purity or goodness, blue stood for justice. Who made the first flag with stars and stripes? No one knows for sure. The best known tale or story is the one about Betsy Ross. According to the story, George Washington and 2 other men went to the home of Betsy Ross in Philadelphia in June 1776. They asked her to make a new flag for the United States. She looked at their sketches and changed only one thing. She changed the number of points in the star from 6 to 5. Oh, so this is a little extra page about the Betsy Ross myth, because it's a very fun story, but we don't think it's really true. The well-known story about Betsy Ross meeting with George Washington to make the first official flag is very popular among school children. Although she was a flag maker, many historians doubt the truth of the story. Records do show that Betsy was paid for making a flag for the Pennsylvania Navy in May 1777. Another person who claimed he made the first Stars and Stripes was a New Jersey man named Francis Hopkins. He had signed the Declaration of Independence. He sent a letter to Congress asking to be paid for his design of the flag, and they said no, because they said lots of people had ideas about how our flag should be. One special day to honor our flag is Flag Day, celebrated every year on June 14th. Changes in the flag. So we're not going to talk, I'm not going to read all of this to you, but it explains how there were so many changes over time in the flag, with the idea that stars stood for colonies and then states. As our country had more and more states, they added more and more stars, and the flag changed many ways. At first, actually, they started trying to add more stripes, but that didn't work, because then they started to get these skinny little stripes. So eventually they decided, no, the stripes will stay at 13, and we will just add 1 star for every new state. The last star was added for the last state when Hawaii is the last state to join the United States, and they got the last star. So that's finally what the flag ended up looking like. The Pledge of Allegiance. So this chapter is about the Pledge of Allegiance that we learn in school. The original Pledge of Allegiance is a little bit different from what we say now. And here it shows some school children saying the pledge. Finally, this chapter, Honoring the American Flag, is about rules that you should follow with the flag. And mostly the rules are about being respectful. You don't fly it at night unless it's lit, unless it's alit very well. You take good care of it. You don't let it touch the ground. And this is about the custom of flying the flag at half-mast, halfway down the flagpole. We do that when someone important has died in their honor, and then also on Memorial Day when we remember soldiers who have fought and fallen or died for our country. And here a family is being very careful about how they take care as they fold the flag. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed learning lots of facts, not just about the American flag, but the idea of flags, right? Flags are symbols, and they were originally used to go into battle, to show that certain land was owned by certain people. And this has given us some information in history about our American flag. Since we got to do something at the end of the book, I want to remember some of the facts. I remember, for example, that the colors have a symbol too, right? It said red stands for courage, white stands for like goodness, like doing the right thing, and blue stands for justice. Justice is like fairness. I also remember, at the beginning we learned some more nicknames. Remember, we had learned Stars and Stripes, but the flag is also called Old Glory and the Star-Spangled Banner. Well, I hope you have a nice afternoon. Don't forget to keep washing your hands, cover your coughs and sneezes, do some reading, do some writing, help your family around the house, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.